Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Monty and today we're going to be doing a trade breakdown and the weekly breakdown, or at least a weekly summary. If you guys have been watching my content, watching the memes, the trade breakdowns, journaling, sub. Anyways, we're just going to go ahead and straight to the sauce here. So we finally bagged a win. So this was the first win of the week and the last win of the week. So seeing how it's Friday, now let's go ahead and break down this trade. So initially I was looking for buys. So I was anticipating for price to do this. I was anticipating the market open to do what market open does, come down, sweep these lows, and then push up. However, it did not do that. It did do it, but not in the way I wanted to, because this was a 1 hour gap. Yes, had a similar 1 hour gap, I believe. But either way, we were approaching a bearish gap. So I was anticipating potential sells after we had sweep these highs here. We did not do that. What we did get was a pullback. So that was an example of a pullback off a liquidity sweep. Now we could have caught buys if we had used this key level here, the market opening candle. Boom. Oh, wrong one. There we go. That was a sweep, and you could have lined up your confluences and took buys from there. But me personally, we had equal lows. We had that draw on liquidity. We had this draw on liquidity and the gap right here. But chances are price had already used this gap, which was probably what led the push ultimately, because this was a 1 hour gap. Now, since that occurred, I was waiting for sales from here. Did not happen. We got a pullback instead. Fine. That's absolutely fine. So we waited towards the second macro, and we actually had a higher draw on liquidity. What draw did we have? We had several. So we go to the 1 hour. We had a 1 hour draw right here. Go to the 4 hour. We had a 4 hour draw. Go to the daily. Let's see. Did we have it on the daily? We did right here. We had a draw right here. So we had 3 major draws on liquidity, all in confluence with each other. That is a strong area of interest to take a trade. So now that we establish our strong draws on liquidity, now you could have taken it here. I took it here. As you guys can see, we had an inverse gap right here. That would have been nice sells. However, I don't think ES offered the confluence there. Not really. Yeah, it didn't really offer the confluence there, so that's probably why I did not take it there. But it did offer it right here. Okay. So, as you guys can see as well, when NQ was starting to shift right here, you can see it on the little dots right here that ES was a little bit more aggressive on that push. ES likes to lead the trend for NQ a lot of the times. I was banking on my original entry being the breaker block and the inverted gap. However, price treated the breaker block as an order block, so it wasn't necessarily a breaker block just yet. I had used this fair value gap as entry, and that breaker block kind of sold me on the trade. Like, hey, once we finally broke it, this trade was going to be a banger. So I won't lie, my stop loss was super freaking tight. I almost got stopped out. I was, shitting bricks on this one. Now, this hit for a 1 to 2. Now, in terms of target, why did I only target a 1 to 2? So I want you guys to look right here on ES. You see how the lines are correlated? Let's look at right when we had swept this level here. So this level right here is a key liquidity level here. The moment that price swept that, it reversed. So the moment it swept right underneath here, that is when the trade was basically done. And if I were to zoom out on this, you guys can see that we bought. Like we reversed, sold off again, and then price ultimately reversed up to the upside. So that's the trade idea there. I'm going to make sure I'm not taking up too much of your time. Okay, 4 minutes, cool. Let's go ahead and go to the journal. This was basically an SMT setup. Today, Friday, second macro, sells, 2 higher time frames aligned. We used a breaker block and a fair value gap combo. I'm not going to include the inverted gap on this instance here. Matter of fact, let me just fix that. That way I know why my trades work. In terms of the higher time frame draws, we had the 4-hour high, the high day, and the 1-hour high. Very strong combo right there. I'm not going to include the London highs or lows or Asia highs. I think that's plenty. It was a clean SMT. When it comes to price action, right? So price action was pretty damn clean, right? I noticed with some trades where the price action is not clean, your confluences aren't confident. So I want to be confident in my confluences. We traded with the New York. We had no news. We had nothing to worry about. The only thing I was concerned about was potential news on tariffs, since there is an upcoming deal or deadline rather, and that can literally drop any minute now, like any minute from like the day I saw it to over the weekend or a Monday. And this was a 94% setup, freaking solid setup. Now let's go ahead and break down my week, because this week was quite not fun. So 41% win rate. You guys are well aware of my first account. My second account back down to 50. Honestly, I'm not too happy about it, but we're still profitable. So really bad week, really red. I took a lot of L's this week, and honestly, they were silly mistakes. Like honestly, like not realizing like some of my trades were at a 1 to 2. Some of them I'm realizing like, hey, I'm not at 1% yet. When in reality, I risked way too little. So honestly, like these trades were bangers, but it was the user, trading it. Like I just messed up all week, and that costed me $3,000. And quite honestly, like that's frustrating because I know better. You know what I mean? So, and then like this trade right here, like that was a mistake too. I overlooked something. You know what I mean? And I pulled out. That way I can minimize my loss. This trade right here was a break-even day because I didn't realize I was at a 1 to 2. This one too, I didn't realize I was a 1 to 2. This one right here, I didn't realize I was a 1 to 2. So, all in all, I just had to pay attention more. And honestly, like I still have confidence. Like I know I'm gonna get funded. You know what I mean? But that is pretty much it. I just want to be extra transparent when it comes to that, because I am not here for clout. I'm here to, hold myself accountable and be genuine and, all that good stuff. Anyways, if you guys haven't subbed already or, liked, shared, or, checked out my Instagram, go for it. And also follow my brother Isai. Anyways, God bless.